This film, released in 2025, redefines fear. The zombies here aren't just fast. They're lightning quick, fast enough to chase down a speeding airplane within minutes. And if that's not terrifying enough, some of them have evolved. They can sniff out humans from thousands of miles away and crush even the strongest human fortresses. A small boy is watching cartoons at home when suddenly the TV signal is lost, and an emergency news bulletin appears on the screen. The news reports that a mysterious virus has spread across the world, and the infected people turn into terrifying zombies within minutes. This virus spreads very rapidly, and many cities have already been destroyed. The boy is watching all of this carefully when suddenly a sound comes from the room upstairs. He goes up hesitantly and finds out it was just a prank by his elder sister. Just then, their father, who is out on duty, video calls. He tells his wife and kids to go far from the city to their relative's house because the zombie virus has now spread to the city too. The little girl Abby smiles seeing the lucky bracelet she had made in her father's hand. Meanwhile, the mother has packed everything. Screams are being heard from outside, so she doesn't waste a moment and takes both children and leaves the house. Just as they are about to sit in the car, a zombie grabs the mother. Abby immediately hides under the car and, with her own eyes, sees her younger brother being killed by the zombie. The little girl is trembling with fear and suddenly sees that her mother has also turned into a lifeless zombie and is coming toward her. At the exact moment, gunshots are heard, and an uncle-like figure arrives like an angel and saves Abby. Later, he tells her to cover her ears and shoots her now zombified little brother too. Now, 10 years have passed, and due to the zombie virus, human civilization has been completely destroyed. The once beautiful cities are now ruins. The little girl Abby has now grown up, and Uncle Cassius has trained her into a warrior of the forest. After living in the jungle for so many years, Abby strongly wishes to live among people. Her biggest dream is to find a human settlement where she can stay. However, for Cassius, the best place is a deserted island far from the land. One night, in the dark, Cassius wakes up due to the sound of the alarm placed outside. He carefully comes out of his tent and sees that a zombie attacks him from the darkness. But Cassius keeps firing and kills it. They are both sad because zombies prefer to stay in herds, and there are surely more nearby. So before morning, they start preparing to pack up and leave. On the way, their horses start neighing. Cassius understands that danger is near. Both look around and see a jeep surrounded by zombies in the distance. Cassius initially doesn't want to pay attention, but Abby silently fires a shot, forcing them to kill the remaining zombies. Then, when they go to the jeep and start collecting essential supplies, Cassius takes the shoes of the dead man. As soon as he wears them, he hears a voice from a walkie-talkie inside the car. It becomes clear that the dead people had other companions. Cassius wants to leave immediately, but at that very moment, several SUVs arrive, and many armed people surround them. Some find the same shoes that Cassius had taken off, making them believe that he and Abby killed their friends. As the tension rises, a pregnant woman steps out of the car and asks her people to let Abby and Cassius go. At that moment, the black horse gives another warning, and the next second, roaring sounds come from the jungle. Many zombies start approaching the valley walls like a flood. People don't have time to run, so they take out their weapons and start fighting on the spot. Among the zombies was a female zombie who had the power to think and was watching her companions fight. The surviving people had nowhere to hide, and their numbers quickly started dwindling. One strong man unfortunately got bitten by a zombie. He tries to shoot himself, but the bullets are finished. At that moment, Abby grabs the pregnant woman and puts her in the jeep. Cassius keeps fighting while retreating and manages to kill the intelligent female zombie. Then, he quickly drives the jeep out of the zombie horde. A black-faced zombie roars after seeing the dead female zombie as if his wife had died. Meanwhile, Cassius rescues the pregnant woman and her husband from the zombies. On asking, it's revealed that these survivors were trying to reach a safe place called Shiptown. Hearing this, Abby becomes very happy because that's exactly the place she had always wanted to go. After deciding on the direction, Cassius is about to drive, but the vehicle breaks down midway. The pregnant woman's husband gets down and introduces himself. His name is David, and he is a mechanic, but due to a lack of parts, he cannot fix the car. With no choice, Cassius and the others decide to continue on foot. They move ahead through a mountainous path and soon reach the city where Abby was born. Tall buildings are still standing there, but a deadly silence has spread all around. Cassius finds a building with an open space and decides to spend the night there. After making sure there is no danger nearby, they light a fire and cook food. Abby is very curious about the place called Shiptown. The pregnant woman had already contacted them through wireless. As the name suggests, Shiptown is made by joining many big ships. It is not connected to the land, so it's very safe. There is plenty of water and food there, so it is a dream place for the remaining people. Abby's eyes light up hearing all this, but Cassius has no interest in it. He has no time to waste. He wants to go outside and lay more warning signals and bomb traps. After making everything ready, Cassius shares his future plan. He will take Megan and her husband up to a certain distance. After that, they will go in separate directions because his destination is the port in the opposite direction. Abby becomes very upset and secretly goes to Cassius and argues with him about why he is not going with them to Shiptown. Cassius wisely says that where there are more people, there is more danger. But Abby doesn't understand the wickedness of people and Cassius' words at all. She fights a lot with Cassius and then goes upstairs alone to spend the night. However, neither of them knows that the black-faced zombie has already tracked them by sniffing their stolen car. It seems that zombie leader has decided to confront Cassius. Next morning, Abby is looking at her childhood photos when suddenly she hears a rustling sound from below. She understands that zombies have come inside and rushes downstairs to warn everyone, but she runs into a zombie on the way. However, she reacts very quickly and fools a chasing zombie, but loses her balance in the process. Just then, Cassius appears again and once more saves her from danger. After a while, the black-faced zombie arrives there with his companions, but they get trapped in the traps that had already been set. Cassius hears the explosion sound and understands that the zombie horde is after him. Then Abby suddenly remembers that a little airport is nearby. As a child, her father often used to take her there for fun. Maybe some airplanes are left there. This would save everyone days of walking. Though Cassius doesn't have much hope, he agrees to go there after Abby insists repeatedly. Soon they reach the small airport that Abby was talking about. But everyone is disappointed because everything is lying empty. Not a single airplane is seen. However, Abby doesn't give up. She remembers that her father had bought a private hangar, which now looks like a small mound and is very hidden. After opening the door the old-fashioned way, her father's small plane is indeed standing right there. Abby smiles with joy. At last, she has proven her point right in front of Cassius. However, the plane hasn't been used in a long time, so mechanic David says it needs to be repaired. Cassius and Abby keep watch from a tall building nearby. They have barely sat down properly when they see many zombies approaching them. Cassius quickly runs and tells Megan and her husband that they need to take off within 3 minutes, even if David hasn't completed the repair. Seeing the zombies getting closer, Abby drops all thoughts and, relying on her blurry memories, manages to start the plane. However, by then, many zombies have already reached the runway. Their speed is like that of a fast runner and they're almost about to catch the plane. Just then, Cassius shoots a climbing zombie and Abby finally understands the controls and flies the plane smoothly into the air. The black-faced zombie king looks toward the sky and many emotions show in his eyes. Everyone sitting inside the plane is very happy because they will soon reach Shiptown directly. But right then, smoke starts coming from the back part of the plane, and then it begins to fall straight to the ground. Thankfully, they are quite lucky. The plane wasn't flying too high, and because it hit the ground multiple times, its speed had decreased. All 4 people receive only minor injuries. But now the plane is no longer usable. They will have to move ahead on foot. While walking, they reach a deserted railway station. No zombies are seen nearby. After making sure of this, Cassius decides to spend the night there. The port and Shiptown are on the other side of the mountain. The 4 of them can walk together for a short distance. After looking at his pregnant wife, David goes inside a closed compartment. He lifts the leg of his pants and shows a terrible mark. Actually, a zombie had bitten him a few days ago. David knows that he will soon become a zombie, so he wants to shoot himself, but thinking about his would-be wife, he drops the idea. The next morning, Cassius notices something strange about David. He seizes a chance and lifts David's pant leg, and sees the zombie bite mark. However, Abby, who is walking ahead, is calling him to hurry, so he drops the idea of killing David right there. As they keep walking, night falls again, and ahead a farmhouse is seen. Cassius silently takes out his gun and moves forward. Just then, a warning voice suddenly comes from the speaker attached to the door. After confirming someone is inside, Abby calmly steps forward and says that she has no bad intentions. When they find out there is a pregnant woman with them, the house owner's suspicion goes away. After collecting all weapons, the old man kindly invites everyone inside the house. They had installed a system there to filter solar power and rainwater. Abby is finally able to take a bath with warm water. After having a delicious dinner, Cassius charges his laptop. It has pictures of him with his wife, one of which is from the time his wife was pregnant. After looking at the pictures, Cassius goes to Megan and says that he has changed his mind. First, he will take her to Shiptown, then search for the harbor with Abby. Just then, the house owner gives everyone alcohol, and after many days, they get a chance to sit and talk peacefully. But while talking, something feels off to them. The house owner says that zombies are the next stage of human evolution. They are the ultimate predators and should rule the earth, just like humans out of greed once hunted other animals. Everyone is shocked to hear this. Only David is feeling extremely unwell and goes to the bathroom. The virus had completely spread in his body. When David returns to the hall, he sees that Cassius and the others are lying unconscious. The house owner immediately presses a button on a device in his hand. David suddenly feels very weak and falls to the ground. When David gets up again, he sees that he and his companions are hung up. Actually, the house owner had mixed a sleeping drug in the alcohol, and that man was actually a scientist. After years of research, he had made a special device that could control zombie behavior with a low-frequency signal. and the trapped Cassius and the others were subjects for his experiment. After saying all this, the scientist opens the door of the cage behind him. His wife is locked in there, who has already turned into a zombie. He turns the switch and the zombie really attacks Cassius. But David, using the power of the virus, breaks the rope, and ignoring the control of the device, saves the tied-up Cassius and others. Sensing danger, the house owner immediately escapes and soon disappears from sight. Cassius doesn't want to stay there anymore. He finds a vehicle outside and leaves with everyone into the dense forest. But the house owner is not someone who will give up so easily. Using his device, he controls a horde of zombies and makes them chase them. Cassius keeps increasing the vehicle's speed, but the road ahead is blocked. Now they have no option but to escape on bikes. David knows he doesn't have much time left, so he decides to stay back and stop the zombies. After speaking to his wife, he bravely enters the horde of zombies. Though the zombies are stopped only for a short time, Cassius, carrying Megan in his arms, keeps retreating while fighting. When the zombies are just about to reach them, they suddenly see a human checkpoint. Abby understands that this is Shipdown. Hearing the sound, the guards at the checkpoint immediately pull out their guns and start killing the attacking zombies. The black-faced zombie stops his companions from advancing, because there is a water route ahead and they cannot cross it. Soon, Cassius and the others reach the middle of the camp by boat. Megan was about to deliver and urgently needed treatment. The good thing is, there are doctors and hospital facilities here. The next morning, they see the full view of the camp. A huge platform made by connecting many large ships far from land. And finally, Cassius meets the in-charge of the camp. He welcomes both to stay here, but following some rules is necessary. Cassius leaves without thinking, feeling it's better to stay alone in isolation. But Abby decides to stay here. She has a strong desire to live with fellow humans. This causes a big argument between them. Just then, the doctor arrives and tells them that Megan gave birth to a daughter, but due to excessive bleeding, she might not survive for long. Cassius becomes very sad and rushes to the hospital room. Megan is very weak, and she wants to hand over her newborn daughter to Cassius, and wishes that she grows up like Abby. Thinking of his late wife, Cassius finally agrees to Megan's wish. He knows now another responsibility has come upon his shoulders. Meanwhile, Abby is having a great time roaming with a handsome boy for the first time. She had never imagined that so many people could sit together, drink alcohol, and dance freely to beautiful music. So her desire to stay here becomes even stronger. After the fun, Abby accidentally sees the handsome boy, secretly going into a cabin. Out of curiosity, she goes inside and finds the cabin is filled with wires and bombs. A wireless switch is glowing separately. Just then, the boy runs in and tells her that they have planted bombs beneath Shipdown. In case this place ever gets attacked, people will escape through a secret path and blow it up. But neither of them had any idea that this day would come so soon. That mad scientist's anger isn't calm yet, and through his control device, he joins hands with the black-faced zombie king. After getting help from the scientist, Shiptown's natural water defense becomes useless. Many zombies, either from under the water or using boats, soon infiltrate the Shiptown camp. Due to the sudden attack, many of the remaining people are killed instantly, and those who have no place to hide eventually become zombie food. Cassius gets worried about Abby and goes in the opposite direction of the crowd to look for her, killing zombies as he goes forward, and finally finds her while fighting. Maybe in excitement, he accidentally bumps into a zombie and falls down. The scientist who wanted revenge now appears. He finally gets a chance to take revenge. But Cassius doesn't give up. He grabs the scientist's hand and hits it hard, which breaks his weak device instantly. After losing the power to control zombies, that poor evil scientist soon becomes a victim of zombies. The good thing was that this camp already had an escape route. Many of the survivors reach the other side of the river through the tunnel. When they are about to activate the bomb, the handsome boy says, "Wait," because Abby is still on the boat. While escaping, Cassius kills the zombie king with an oar. Abby accidentally sees a bracelet in that zombie's hand. Isn't that the same one she made with her own hands for her father? But the girl has no time to think, and Cassius forcefully pulls her into the tunnel. The handsome boy sees both of them running, and immediately presses the wireless remote, and the entire Shiptown instantly turns into a giant fireball. Though everyone's fight isn't over yet, the camp leader comes holding his neck, because in the battle a zombie had bitten him. Before the virus could spread, the black-faced zombie had attacked him. Surprisingly, the zombie king had also survived the explosion. Cassius immediately moves forward and fights him. Abby picks up a gun from the ground and recognizes that the zombie king standing in front of her is her father. But he was attacking Cassius, the one who raised her. So finally, Abby makes a decision and shoots the black-faced zombie king. In the end, he was no longer her father. Cassius looks toward a lonely island in the far sea with the remaining people, and they decide to start a new human settlement there. There's no doubt that the woman zombie whom Cassius had killed earlier, she was Abby's mother. All that can be said is, this film's entire story was full of coincidences. If you like the story, don't forget to like and comment on the video.